74-68
after being down 2 at halftime.
And Jaquan Lyle, their freshman point guard, registering a triple-double in that game. 16 points, 12 rebounds, 11 assists. But he'll have his hands full today as he goes up against Melo Trimble. First possession of the game, it's a turnover for Robert Carter.
You saw Jae'Sean Tate right there. Jae'Sean Tate's the best inside player Ohio State has, both offensively and defensively, only at 6'3".
Bates-Diop pulls up, comes up short, gets his own miss, and finishes. So Keita Bates-Diop first on the board for the Buckeyes.
Yeah, that's kind of what you like about Ohio State. They've just got a bunch of long guys. Bates-Diop, Loving, Lyle, just long athletic guys on the perimeter, and they're young.
Carter with the size advantage on Jae'Sean Tate. He'll go right at him a second time, and the jump hook is off the heel.
A lot of guys you can post up when you have a size advantage, but Jae'Sean Tate has always, his entire life, played with a disadvantage inside, and he's been very good at it.
Tate able to step back, tries a three off the feed from Trevor Thompson. Melo Trimble off of his lowest scoring game of his Maryland career on Tuesday at Michigan. 1 for 7 from the field. Slips one to Carter. Carter with the spin move, and he's got the chance for the three-point play.
Hey, this is nice. This is sweet by Carter. Terrific little no-look bounce pass. Watch Carter, 6'9", spins, takes the contact by Thompson, keeps his chin on the rim and lays it in. That is, look, greatest athletes in the world are basketball players. That's 6'9", 240 pounds, looking like a ballerina.
Carter able to complete the three-point play. The Georgia Tech transfer, who struggled at times defensively against Zach Irvin on Tuesday at Michigan. Is that a limitation for this Maryland team? They seem to struggle with smaller lineups, but they're playing one of the biggest in the Big Ten today. Yeah,
they do a little bit. And Carter's a tough match. Carter's a tough match for anybody defensively, but he's a tough match right here out on the perimeter. Hard to match up.
Nice drive by Tate.
You can see both teams. Maryland's gone to Carter 3 straight times. Ohio State's gone to Tate 3 straight times.
Carter left alone. Hits a three.
Robert Horry. Telling you, he goes inside, he spins, and now he steps out and knocks in a three. How good is that? Not too many of those in the country at 6'9".
Dragging his feet is Jaquan Lyle, and Mark Turgeon loves it. Unforced error by the Buckeyes. As Mark Turgeon, who took Maryland to the NIT, the first 3 years at Maryland, 1 NIT. But boy, has he completely now flipped the script now that he has his recruiting classes in.
Yeah, and you know what I love about it? A year ago, 2 years ago, a couple kids quit. About 5 of them left the program, did all what kids do. They started whining, you know, coach this, coach that. Mark Turgeon just said, hey, get out. I'm going to recruit. And he has, and they're much better. Addition by subtraction.
Mark Loving knocked it away from Lehman, and it's out off of Lehman. And Thad Matta, second longest tenured coach now in the Big Ten, is in his 12th year at Ohio State. Only Tom Izzo, 21 years in at Michigan State, has been with his Big Ten school longer.
Thad Matta, winning his coach at Ohio State history, is going to end up, if he can get a national championship, he'll end up in the Hall of Fame.
Lyle tosses up an air ball right into the hands of Suleiman. Suleiman down low to Carter with the pump fake. Rolls it off the rim. The tip follow is good.
Robert Carter any good? It's just a tough match. It's just a matchup that nobody in the Big Ten really has.
Bates-Diop knocks down a three. Makes it a one-point game.
3-point basket for Keita Bates-Diop.
Trimble. A pass over the head of DeMonte Dodd.
You don't see that very often. Melo Trimble usually, and the reason Melo Trimble's good is he plays underneath the defense coming off of ball screens. He rarely throws a hook pass high to his bigs. He did, and it's a turnover.
Trevor Thompson goes at Dodd with the left hand. And that puts the Buckeyes on top.
Trevor Thompson, really an under-recruited kid, signed with Virginia Tech out of Indianapolis. Left Virginia Tech with the coaching change. Built up his body a little bit. What a heck of a move.
Dodd called for the foul.
Thompson was not recruited, just really skinny. Played in the summertime. Kind of blew up a little bit to where school said, wait a second, we see something late. Went to Virginia Tech, and now he's in the Big Ten playing for Thad Matta, who, by the way, coached at Butler, so he's well versed in Indiana basketball.
Diamond Stone on for the first time. And just as he checks in, he is faced up by Trevor Thompson, and Thompson knocks down another.
Well, that was not there in the rout against Indiana. The bigs for Ohio State were miserable in that game. And
Suleiman rattles home a triple, and we're tied. Hot shooting for both teams to start. The Terps are 4 for 6. The Buckeyes are 5 for 8. But now a turnover for Ohio State. Dan, you mentioned the tough matchup. Robert Carter already proving that today.
He's the toughest matchup in the Big Ten. He's big, he's strong, and he can shoot. What else you want?
ESPN's exclusive presentation of college basketball is brought to you by the Lincoln Motor Company and the entirely new Lincoln MKX.
Well, whenever you do a Maryland game, you know what's trending? The point guard play. Melo Trimble trending up. Certainly a game winner last week against Wisconsin. Trending down. The loss to Michigan on Tuesday night, where he was 1 for 7 with 4 turnovers. And so, Dan, we take a look at your top point guards in college basketball and your blatant Big Ten bias, obviously. But you had Chris Dunn behind Melo Trimble going into Tuesday night. Not anymore.
Things move fast. I mean, look, it's great that you play well in Maui or wherever, but you've got to be consistent. And Melo Trimble was not very good at all in a game that, quite frankly, if you're going to win the Big Ten, you got to go win at Michigan without Karis LeVert. Now, you know, there was a lot to it. He got in foul trouble, but the turnovers were the thing for me.
Great feed to Carter, and how about the English off the window? Already in double digits is Robert Carter.
Yeah, and that's what Melo Trimble has to do. And he did not do that against Michigan. He put Carter in a great spot right there.
You got Denzel Valentine down as a point guard?
He is a point guard to me. I mean, look, Tum Nairn can guard point guards, but Valentine's a point guard. And if you haven't seen Kay Felder, I don't know what to tell you. The kid's leading the country in assists. Here's Carter right here. You're going to see Carter, and this is really good basketball. You set a screen, and you end up getting the basketball. Watch Carter. He catches it on one side. No angle by Thompson, and Carter is able to keep his chin on the rim. Watch here. See him? He's looking up. A little bit of English knocks it in. That's a guy that's played a lot of basketball. You don't get that from just shooting drills. That's from playing in the park. That's from playing against your brother. That's from playing against people in the street. That's just from playing.
Carter picked up that last foul. Cam Williams comes on for the first time for the Buckeyes as Tate misses from the corner. And for Cam Williams, this is a homecoming, as he is a Baltimore native, and he gets his hands on the basketball, and the Baltimore native takes it away.
Cam Williams has played better offensively because of that right there. He's played better defensively, and it's helped his offense. The deal, Bob, is this. When you just get out and play hard, offense comes. It just does. And Cam Williams is a talented scorer. He can come in, light it up. But you got to guard, so you stop thinking.
Shot clock to 5. Thompson across the lane. Shuffled his feet. It's another turnover, and these are 2 of the more turnover-prone teams in the Big Ten on the next Big Monday, part of My Home Court, which begins this week. We've got 2 big games for you. 7 Eastern, Syracuse takes on Duke in the ACC. And then at 9, we go to the Big 12. Buddy Hield and number 2 Oklahoma trying to avoid Hilton Magic at Iowa State. Both games streaming live on Watch ESPN and the ESPN app.
Hey, Buddy Hield with a double-double against Oklahoma State. He had himself 26 points, 10 turnovers.
Quan Lyle picks the pocket of Melo Trimble, the 6th Maryland turnover. Ohio State has already turned it over 3 times. Ohio State averages 13.5 turnovers a game, 11th in the Big Ten, and just ahead of them At 10th worst in the Big Ten is Maryland, averaging 13.2 turnovers per game. With the left hand and rolls home inside for Diamond Stone. He's got a chance for a three-point play.
Well, you got to figure out how you're going to play Diamond Stone. Giddens has a good body. He's a long kid, but he's not playing Diamond Stone one-on-one. You see, there's no help here. Now, a little bit of late help from Jaquan Lyle, but Diamond Stone, if you don't help on him, he is going to score, get fouled, or both.
Daniel Giddens called for the 4th Ohio State foul. And here comes Varun Ram in the game for the first time. The walk-on who gives Mark Turgeon some minutes off the bench as a defensive energy player. And Diamond Stone has picked it up since Big Ten play began. We talked to Mark Turgeon about this, Dan, before the game. He didn't have a double-double before Big Ten play began, but in the first 5 games in Big Ten play, he has 3 double-doubles.
He had 39 points in his first Big Ten game. You know, last week against Wisconsin got in foul trouble, but he still had 10 rebounds, and he went 4 for 5 from the field.
Jaquan Lyle attacks soft off the glass.
We haven't talked about him enough yet. We will. Jaquan Lyle has come to Ohio State and just been absolutely terrific. Triple-double last time out. 20 against Rutgers, 29 at Indiana. He makes basketball easy. I mean, really easy.
That three is perfect for Jared Nickens, who hadn't scored a basket in the previous 2 games for Maryland before knocking that one down.
Cam Williams forgot the scouting report. If you don't get out on Nickens, he's going to drill you. Cam Williams laid up a little soft, gave up 3.
Love it. Step back. Comes up short. Tie up in the lane between Stone and Giddens. And the possession arrow will keep it with Ohio State.
You can tell someone is a great player. You really can by them going to the rim and nobody else really jumps. Diamond Stone came over late. Pete Newell told me that a long time. Great players jump, lay things in when others either don't or they're way late. Stone way late. Lyle is a great player that took a bad shot.
That was the announcer jinx. If I ever heard it, build the kid up, and he fades away with a hand in his face. Nickens. That is swatted by Bates Diop. And Bates Diop gets the return and then travel.
A swat by Bates Diop. And then down the other end, here comes Ram, just doing what he's supposed to do. I had a chance to talk to him before the game. I have a son that's a walk-on in Michigan, and I tell my son all the time, do what Ram does at Maryland. I mean, he just comes in, affects the game in some way. There it was a charge.
A little too strong for Diamond Stone. Lyle turns the corner, down the lane. The finger roll is perfect. And it's a 2-point game again.
I'm telling you, Jake Langdon was there, didn't jump. It's amazing how guys, they seem slow. It's not like Lyle is the fastest guy going, but he just has a knack that others don't to score in traffic. And the defender most times doesn't even get up in the air. It's great.
He scored the last 6 for the Buckeyes. Melo Trimble had a very brief rest. He finds Layman in the lane. A chance for another 3-point play for the Terps.
If you're going to double Melo Trimble on top, then you've got to take away the lane. Watch the double right here. Oops, we forgot about Layman. Layman's strong enough to get 3.
Four-point lead for Maryland over Ohio State. Bob Wischusen with Dan Dakich. And what trends possibly more than anything involved with any property I have a small influence on is the Dan Dakich Big Ten Index. And believe me, this is a survey that is just between the ears of Dan Dakich, but it still sparks conversation.
It is often imitated, never duplicated.
You got the Terps all the way down to 4th in the index on
tell
one
you
loss.
something. You lose at Michigan. I'm not putting Michigan ahead of you. Don't talk to me about Northwestern, and don't tell me that Michigan State should be up there. The Dakich Index is how you're playing now. Michigan State got blasted at home. Northwestern won at Minnesota, no great feat. At home against Wisconsin, you win, I put you in. But how about the Iowa Hawkeyes? Best resume in league in the country right now. 2 wins against Michigan State with and without Valentine, and a win on Rick Mount night, down 17 and a half. Give me the Hawks. But
yes,
I am putting Northwestern on notice. Nationally, I will be ripped for putting them in there. I'm believing in the Cats. I've had the Cats. I've done 2 games. Northwestern, you're on notice.
What does that mean?
It means they got to beat Penn State today.
Okay. I'm just wondering what the ramifications are of being put on notice on the Dakich Index.
Well, then you're out, and then you're sad, and then your fan base cries. But wouldn't kill you to beat Maryland on Tuesday either, and then you make us look good. And more importantly, maybe get in the tournament for the first time ever.
Lehman one-on-one. And it blocked inside by Thompson. Got it back. And that one's blocked, but a goaltending call this time on Thompson. It's Martin Luther King Day NBA Special Edition game presented by State Farm on ESPN, 2:30 Eastern, when Anthony Davis and the Pelicans take on Super Sixth-Man Zach Randolph and the Grizzlies. That game on MLK Day. Streaming live on Watch ESPN and the ESPN app.
I love it. I love when NBA is on during the day. It's like you feel like you're skipping school.
Shot clock winding down. Loving. Nice pump fake. Creates a wide open look. Did the hard part, but couldn't knock the shot down. Trimble finds Carter, who feeds Diamond Stone.
Really nice. Always seen him play ahead, both Trimble and Carter. Wow.
Thad Matta wants a 30-second timeout, so we'll come back in 30 seconds.
No matter why you're on the
Largest lead for Maryland. Bob Wischusen and Dan Dakich. Dan takes us inside the play.
You've got to be able to react in basketball. Look how slow the reaction is of the guys in red right here. Ball screen on top. Thompson stays. 1 pass, whap. 2 passes. Jayshawn Tate helped up. You never help up. Remember, you protect the basket. But Thompson's got to be able to make 2 plays. He's got to help, and then he's got to recover.
Thompson this time able to get deep position, but missed at point-blank range. Tate almost took it away from Diamond Stone. And now Melo Trimble comes back to help.
So Thompson sometimes doesn't turn. He's trying to get the shot off, not get it blocked, instead of being 6'11", turning and laying it in. He doesn't get his shoulder square.
Layman down the lane. Slips one through to Carter. Tough pass. 3 to shoot. Melo Trimble for 3. Way up in the air for the rebound goes Thompson. And here comes Jaquan Lyle with a crossover and the finish.
Man, is he good? I don't know. There's a lot of good freshmen across the country, a lot of good upperclassmen, but you tell me somebody that makes basketball look easier than Jaquan Lyle. Again, in traffic, nobody jumped. Nobody jumped. That's a sign of a heck of an offensive player. And I'm not sure why, Bob. I'm really not. I remember Pete Newell telling me that. It's always stuck with me. I've always watched it. Isaiah Thomas is the best I've ever seen from the guard position. Oh, he jumped there.
That time Lyle had that shot blocked. Look at the crossover. In transition for Trimble. The lob to Diamond Stone. Melo Trimble makes it look pretty easy at times, too.
It really does. You got to get back against him. You run up on him, he's going to cross you over, break your ankles, make you fall down, and put you on YouTube.
Trimble does not have a bucket yet, but he's got 5 assists. And now he picks up a foul that displeased Mark Turgeon, his head coach. Nickens, Trimble, and Stone all sit down. Ram comes back on along with Suleiman and DeMonte Dodd for Maryland.
I don't think Trimble cares really about scoring, and I think that was the biggest disappointment at Michigan. Wasn't that he didn't get buckets, but it was that he turned it over.
Loving on the drive. Blocking foul called on Ram.
Do not run up on Melo Trimble. He will cross you over and make you look silly. And then when you do at the end of it, They're going to dunk it with their ear.
Back to Bob and Dan.
All right, Doug, thanks very much. Melo Trimble is on the bench. He has yet to score, but he's got 5 assists, and Maryland still has their largest lead at 9, led by Robert Carter. They are 11 of 18 from the field. They're shooting 61%.
Yeah, they made right from the get-go a effort to get Robert Carter matched up against Jayshawn Tate. Robert Carter has done it in a variety of ways.
Tate with the reverse.
Jayshawn Tate is so comfortable around the basket playing against bigger guys, understands using the rim, understands shot fake. Best big guy Ohio State has, Jayshawn Tate, 6'3".
Carter through a double team. Now it's Suleiman with 11 to shoot. Finds Carter. Knocks down 3.
Man. So you're 6'9", you go on the block, they double team you, you pass out of it, you step outside, you drill a 3.
That one won't go. And Lyle off the miss sets up an offensive foul. That's going to be called on Jayshawn Tate.
Problem last few possessions with Ohio State is they haven't moved the ball and then driven. They have taken it off of a straight drive. You move the ball, you go side to side, 2 things happen. Number 1, you move the defense. Number 2, the defense can make a mistake. And when that happens, now you drive and the defense can't get to help side. That's something to watch. Ball goes side to side, driving lanes open.
And maybe number 3, it sets up some shots for Mark Loving, who is averaging about 15 points per game, but is scoreless through the first half so far. Diamond Stone muscles one up. That's blocked out of bounds by Thompson. 9 to shoot for Maryland.
That was like a 10-year-old game. The guy with the ball put his head down and dribble, dribble, dribble. I'm going to get a bucket right there.
Carter turns it over. Loving outlets to Jaquan Lyle. Lyle leaves it. Tate lost it. Found it again. And then turned it over. Layman. He turns it over right back. A nice steal by Jayshawn Tate and a timeout called by the Buckeyes.
Jayshawn Tate struggled on one end. Got a little bit out of control again. Going a little quick, Ohio State, but good for Jayshawn Tate. He didn't let bad offense bother him. He came back, played defense, got a tie.
Well, Melo Trimble hasn't scored any baskets yet, but that does not mean he has not affected the game in a big way with 5 assists. He set up Robert Carter more than once.
Yeah, you said it earlier, Bob. He makes basketball easy. Look how quick those passes are. Now, he's had a couple turnovers. You let him out in transition. It's over. He's got too many guys allowed to. But he's made a couple bad passes, and they have all been in the air. When he slips a bounce pass, it's as good as any.
Well, those are the 2 leading scorers for these respective teams. Neither has scored so far. Melo Trimble, though, has affected the game with the 5 assists, but Mark Loving has been largely invisible so far. 3 rebounds, 1 turnover. How do you get him involved?
You got to set some screens. There really hasn't been, or you got to make him a screener. Look, that Mata likes a lot of screen-to-screener type action. And right now, really, all Loving has done is kind of hang out on the wing, try to beat his man, and take a bad shot or 2. But you got to get him involved. Screen, receive a screen, or be a cutter off of screens. Here, a little ball screen.
Loving for 3. On cue, he's got his first bucket.
Yeah, he came up to set a screen, kinda, but he slipped it to the side where he's really comfortable and knocked in a 3.
Suleiman tries to answer and does. Thad Matta is furious at his team for allowing Suleiman a wide open look.
He should be. Suleiman just came from the right side, ran to the left. You guard it every day in practice. Defender got caught up in a screen. Never should happen.
This time with the left hand, it rolls off for Jaquan Lyle. Tapped around. Lyle sets up Loving, who allows the flyby. Can't hit the jumper. Fight for the loose ball. Thompson finds it. And that finally rolls home for Ohio State.
Man, that was great work by Thompson 2 times. He got in there among Stone and among all of them and battled and got a bucket. That was really good. That was really good toughness. And that's been the question about Thompson. Is he tough enough? He was there.
Layman along 2. In and out.
You know, I like what they've done with Layman. Everybody's ran at him, getting him off the three-point line. Came in 3 threes in the first half against Michigan. They're not allowing it.
Bates Diop. Another offensive rebound for Trevor Thompson. That won't go. And it's out of bounds off Jae'Sean Tate. Coming up on the next big Monday, part of my home court. 2 more games for you, and a big one begins it in the ACC as Syracuse takes on number 9 Duke. And then we will head to Hilton for some Hilton magic between Iowa State and number 2 Oklahoma, as Buddy Hield will look to keep a terrific season for the Sooners going. Both games streaming live on Watch ESPN and the ESPN app.
The Sooners have a big game today. West Virginia off a win against Kansas comes into Norman, and that's going to be terrific.
Suleiman, too easy.
Freshman mistake by Giddens. Second ball screen. Suleiman going downhill towards the rim. He ran up, just put his hands up. That's great in high school. But against Suleiman, that's just, hey, goodbye.
Loving on the drive. Lost it on the way up. Another Ohio State turnover. That's their 7th here in the first half. Melo Trimble just about gave it right back. And it is out off Bates Diop, so it stays with Maryland.
Modern day college basketball, you're going to see right here, Giddens. You have to be able to guard the ball screen. Number 4, watch. He comes up, opens up, and it is over. You've got to give room. If you're going to get beat, you get beat by a jump shot, and you've got to get in a stance. It's tough these days on big fellas. It's not just, hey, we've got to guard the block, body bump against bigs. No, you got to go out and you got to guard guards off of switches at the top of the key.
Foul called on Tate as he poked Robert Carter.
Ohio State foul on Jae'Sean Tate.
5 team fouls now in Ohio State. Only 4 fouls so far called here in the first half on Maryland. And Williams back in for Tate. And that will get Layman up off the bench to come back in for Maryland. He will replace Diamond Stone. Suleiman to the corner. Another 3 goes down, the second here in the first half for Jared Nickens.
Man, that was nice by Suleiman. You got 2 guys out there that can play the point. Suleiman just beat everybody to help off Nickens. No chance. That's what Nickens does. Step up, knock him in.
Giddens throws it down. A nice find from Live.
Yeah, slipped the screen. Couple doubles. Double one way, then Cam Williams came off a double screen the other way, going to his left. Giddens slipped it. Great look by Lyle.
Carter one-on-one in the post. 4 to shoot. Tough fadeaway. Comes up short. Well defended that time by the Buckeyes.
Yeah, really well. Didn't let him get in the lane. You don't let Carter get in the lane, this percentage goes down by a quarter.
Loving with only 1 field goal so far in the first half. Cam Williams short. Carter the rebound.
Wow, how many shot fakes, great shot fakes have we seen to clear themselves for shots and then misses? You said it earlier, they did the hard part.
Carter, yes, off the feed from Suleiman.
Ball screen is killing Giddens. They're coming up to help. Suleiman with a heck of a pass. Help was late. Good offense.
Robert Carter's got 15 here in the first half. Now Melo Trimble gets a takeaway. Suleiman, he's 4 for 4. Bates Diop. That's rejected. Lehman. Yes! The finger roll lights the crowd up. Loving for three. Off the mark. Suleiman. That's his first miss. A long rebound run down by Bates Diop. Finds Cam Williams. And a bucket in transition. Sorely needed by the Buckeyes. Down by 16 as Maryland calls a timeout. Ohio State in danger of getting run out of the gym if they haven't been already by the Terps.
Every auto.
I'm Doug Kazarian. Coming up in the Land Rover halftime report, we'll take a look at a Tobacco Road rivalry going on over on ESPN. Very tight game. We'll have highlights of that. Also, Corey Alexander will tell you why Oklahoma will have to play West Virginia style. We'll see you in just a few moments, guys.
Mark Turgeon is happy with how his team has played so far. 46-30. A lot of encouragement in the huddle. And really, all of the Mark Turgeons are happy with how things are going right now.
Man, there are some dudes that just shouldn't dance, but I love their enthusiasm. That's a great group, right? I mean, every game, they're right there in their suits, red tie, gray hair.
13 assists against 8 turnovers the first half for Maryland. 5 assists and 8 turnovers in the first half for Ohio State. 10 to shoot. Lehman on the drive. That's blocked and taken away by Giddens. A.J. Harris in the game for the first time for Ohio State. 20 seconds to go. Harris, 7 seconds to go. Picks up his dribble. Taken away by Jake Lehman. Out to Suleiman. Can he beat the buzzer? Did he get it off in time? They will say yes. Rasheed Suleiman beat the horn. They'll go to the monitor at midcourt just to make sure that that basket is good. If it is, Maryland ends the half on a 14-4 run. And it's an 18-point lead.
Suleiman really smart. Watch how quick he gets it out of his hand. Really doesn't foul through, just gets it out. Yeah, that's a good bucket.
And a bad mistake by A.J. Harris, the freshman, who picked up his dribble and had nowhere to go with 7 seconds, rushed it, and turned it over.
A.J. Harris, we were on the direct line of him. He just put his head down and drove. You do that against Maryland, turnovers happen, and when you turn it over, touchdowns occur.
A quick confirmation at the monitor by the officials that that basket by Rasheed Suleiman is good. And at halftime, Robert Carter's got 15. Rasheed Suleiman's got 13. And the front court just as dominant for Maryland as the backcourt was. Doug Kazarian and Corey Alexander standing by now. They've got the Land Rover halftime report. Doug?
Yes, we do, Bob. Thank you.
The nor'easter that's right now up hitting Cape Cod and New England. It was here yesterday. Not today, though. It's beautiful outside here in Maryland. And for the fans inside the Xfinity Center, I would say they think it's beautiful as well. An 18-point lead. Bob Wischusen, Dan Dakich. There was really no element of the game in the first half that Maryland didn't dominate Ohio State.
Yeah, they just went right at Ohio State inside with Robert Carter, and they kept going. Ohio State really lacking resistance. This was the matchup that Ohio State wanted, and they got it early, and they got it often. Robert Carter just doing a lot of things. How about that? Guy lifts up for a three, then he goes inside with a little dipsy-do. Then he hits another three. Robert Carter has been fantastic. He is the toughest matchup for teams defensively. Now, Robert Carter struggles a little bit himself defensively, but Ohio State hasn't been able to take advantage.
He averages about 13 per game. He already has 15 today. in double figures in 7 of the last 8, and that's picking up where Melo Trimble is leaving off, because it's been nearly an hour of game time played that Melo Trimble hasn't scored a point.
And this game, I don't think it bothers him. He's assisting. He's getting the ball to his teammates. There's a lot of double team going on him off of ball screens. Again, the disappointment for Trimble against Michigan wasn't the 1 for 7. It was the 4 turnovers, not influencing the game.
Carter tries to go right back to work and does.
What do you do? I mean, you're posting him up. You come over to double with 6'11". It doesn't get there in time, and he just flips it over you.
Mark Loving was 1 for 5 from the field in the first half. Here's Trevor Thompson in the post, and he will go to the free throw line. So on the flip side, although Melo Trimble is not scoring, we talked about it, he is impacting the game. Did Mark Loving do anything in the first half to impact the game in a game where he's not scoring?
No, he really didn't. He did not defend. He was soft defensively. He had a couple good looks, made a couple shot fakes, just missed a shot, but second half, any comeback is going to go through Lyle and Loving. Got to get him the ball off of screens or have to make him a screen.
Those are the first free throws of the day for Ohio State. What do they have to do to crawl back in the game?
Take the ball at the rim. You know, Ohio State has settled for jump shots. Look, if we're going to talk honest, and I think that's what I'm paid to do, Ohio State has been incredibly soft in this game. They have had no toughness. They have had no spirit, no heart, no communication.
Trimble finds Stone. Plays right through the contact, and that is a continuation three-point play opportunity for Diamond Stone.
And every guy in Ohio State went separate. Now they're going to gather a little bit, but this is what I'm talking about. This is just soft. 2 guys, like a little slap down. Are you kidding me? You've got to stay in there, take a charge, knock Stone down, make him make free throws. Don't give him an easy and one. This is soft performance as I've seen out of a team.
That's the 3rd foul on Jayshawn Tate as well. Lyle drives, and he'll go back to the free throw line. This is a Jekyll and Hyde team that we've seen so far this season. It's an Ohio State team that's 12-6. They lost at the start of the season to UT Arlington and Louisiana Tech. Now, there are other losses, quality. If you lose to Virginia or UConn or Indiana, those are good teams. But they beat Kentucky, and they were great in that Kentucky game. I watched that game, and they get off to a 4-1 start in Big Ten play, and yet now they come out and have a performance like this. How do you get a read on a team that looks very good getting off the bus, but then when they get out on the court, it is so Jekyll and Hyde?
Well, let's talk about that Kentucky win. They made everything in the first half. I mean, they made everything, and the young teams a lot of times go by the way of their offense. You make shots, all of a sudden, man, you're Superman. All of a sudden, you're the greatest teammate. All of a sudden, you're the guy. Don't make shots, get the tough games. Who's going to be the guy? And this is what I'm talking about. They're so quiet.
Tate misses point-blank range off a great feed from Jaquan Lyle.
There's a lot of quiet teams in the Big Ten. I think Wisconsin, way too quiet. Michigan can get quiet. Quiet is bad.
Carter has been loud.
Really loud. Carter, all he did, there was a high ball screen. He was on the bottom, just walked out to the right wing. Defense was late. 3-point play.
Another takeaway. As Layman had it, and now Carter ends up with it. Trimble finds Layman. The long rebound to Suleiman. No look pass, Diamond Stone. Wow, everything going Maryland's way, but they're making it go their way.
Yeah, I mean, look, Diamond Stone made a great move. He went one way, came back the other, flipped it in with his left hand. Nobody came to help the defense. Nobody. Diamond Stone has 2 assists on the entire year, Bob. It takes an act of Congress to get the ball out of his hands when he gets it in the lane. He's not passing. Come help out.
The long rebound makes the 3 possible for Jayshawn Tate, but he can't knock it down. Trimble. That one goes down. It's been a while since Melo Trimble. Over an hour of total game time played since he saw a jump shot connect. But Trimble's jumper forces another timeout by Thad Matta. And it has been a clinic for Maryland at home against Ohio State. Midway through the first half, Maryland had a 19-17 lead on Ohio State. It is 40-16 since. And Governor Larry Hogan here in Maryland in attendance today. I would say this gets the seal of approval as the home state team has been dominant since the midway point of the first half. And Dan, an effort that is way beneath what Ohio State has set as the tradition for their program under Thad Matta.
Look, if you can't play for Thad Matta, you can't play for anybody. Thad Matta has had to yell, scream, make excuses, whatever you need to do, and this team just absolutely is not playing. They've offered no resistance defensively.
Giddens gives the foul on Melo Trimble.
It's young, though. It's a team that needs to learn, but nothing great has ever been accomplished without enthusiasm. Ralph Waldo Emerson, and this is as unenthusiastic performance as you're ever going to see. Same thing against Indiana. Same thing first half against Rutgers. Played good in the second half against Rutgers because Thad lost his mind at halftime. If you're a player in the Big Ten, you don't need any coach to go nuts on you. You just go play.
Well, it's a team that's lost D'Angelo Russell, Shannon Scott, Sam Thompson, Amir Williams, Anthony Lee, and Trey McDonald in the front court as well. They lost 88% of their assists, nearly 70% of their rebounding, and close to 60% of their scoring. They don't even have a senior that plays, so it's a young team.
Yes.
But they are not responding right now to what Thad Matta, I think, is looking for.
No, and look, young, isn't it? Young, dumb, and enthusiastic. Isn't that what you're supposed to be?
Giddens can't finish off the feed from Lovin. Suleiman along two. Yes.
This is true, Bob. As a coach, and every coach out there is going to agree with this, you can tell how practice is going to be when you walk out your office door and you hear sneakers, you hear loud. When you hear quiet, you know it's going to be a fight. And I'll bet you most days Thad Matta hears a lot of quiet, and fighting ain't good.
You've been planning it.
Time for our Wooden Award flashback brought to you by Wendy's. Let's go back to 1994 when the Big Dog led the nation in scoring with 30.3 points per game. And Glenn Robinson took the Boilers to the Elite Eight for his efforts. He was named the Big Ten Player of the Year, won the Wooden Award, named after 1932 Purdue graduate John Wooden. And this week, the mid-season top 25 for the Wooden Award was announced, and 4 of the top 25 players are from the Big Ten. And maybe no name jumps off the page more than the year that Jared Uthoff has had for Iowa. He was spectacular in what was a lopsided win on Thursday night for Iowa at Michigan State.
Iowa went into Michigan State and beat them all day. Now, you never see that happen, ever. And then you had what a big game it was for both teams, and you never, ever see that happen. Jared Uthoff off the charts all year long, leading an Iowa team that I think has the best resume in the country in conference.
Should it be a surprise that he's on that list, or should he have been a player that at the start of the year, those of us that have watched him at Iowa and know how good and versatile he is, should we have expected this kind of year from Jared Uthoff?
You know, yeah, I guess we should have when you think about it. I mean, Jared Uthoff, you saw how good he was when Bo Ryan from Wisconsin wasn't going to let him transfer. You let bad players transfer. You let okay players transfer, but you don't let the good ones transfer. Yeah, you're probably right, Bob. It should be no surprise, but he's taken it, I think, to another level from where everybody expected.
Trimble with a head fake. Yes.
How many times are you going to let a guy go to the basket, lay it in, and not knock him down or foul him or take a charge or anything physical?
Lyle finds Giddens. The jump hook is a brick. Suleiman able to recover. Layman from the corner. Giddens is fouled by Robert Carter, but that's the kind of hustle play that Robert Carter just made that we haven't seen often from Ohio State in this game on the next big Monday. It's part of my home court. We've got two big names for you. And Syracuse, with Jim Boeheim back on the bench, takes on Mike Krzyzewski's Blue Devils. And, well, what a year Grayson Allen has had for Duke. And then at 9, we go to the Big 12 for Buddy Hield in Oklahoma, taking on Iowa State at Hilton. Both games on Monday night, streaming live on Watch ESPN and the ESPN app. Loving down the lane. Short.
Hey, Maryland is not allowing Ohio State to get to the rim. I mean, you go to the basket, there's two guys in there. They're going to knock you down. They're going to take a charge. They're going to try to block a shot. You spread them out a little bit against Ohio State, and guess what? You're getting a layup.
Layman wants to post up Cam Williams. And eventually comes and wants to enter to the post to DeMonte Dodd. Now it's back to Trimble with 5 to shoot. Trimble down the lane. Fouled.
There you go. Hey, I'm not advocating dirty basketball. I'm not advocating anything intentional. I'm just advocating you got to make a play. You start from inside out defensively.
All right, called for his first.
Even there, you just kind of reach out and grab instead of move your feet, get your body, and take it on your chest.
Raul Brown returns for the Terrapins.
Points, 8 assists now for Melo Trimble. All 8 of his points have come in the second half in the first 6 minutes. Jayshawn Tate back in as Mark Loving stumbles to the bench.
Mark Loving's madder on the bench, showing more emotion on the bench than he showed on the court.
Bates Diop out of the game as well. A.J. Harris comes back on. And the Baltimore native Cam Williams short on the jumper. Diamond Stone one-on-one against Giddens, and Gibbons gives another foul. That's the 4th foul on Daniel Giddens, so that'll put him back on the bench. As Trevor Thompson will return.
Trevor Thompson's been, I think, the one guy that's gone to work inside or gone to work in this game. He's been pretty good. He's tough, or he's been tough. He's gone to the backboard. He's competed. He's talked.
And check foul called on A.J. Harris. Let's take a look at what is on the horizon for Mark Turgeon's Terps. A big one against Michigan State looming on January 23rd. That's our game day game coming up next Saturday. But home against Northwestern on Tuesday at 8. That Iowa game's a different level game than we expected it would be probably at the start of the season as well.
You know, Northwestern, Brian McIntosh is really good. There's going to be number. Nope. I thought we were going to see the 3rd assist of the year.
Crowd wanted Varun Ram to shoot the ball. Instead, it's DeMonte Dodd rattling home a jump hook.
Good job by Ram. He didn't shoot a shot that everybody in the gym wanted him to take. It's not his thing. It's not what he's supposed to do. Next thing you know, you got a high-low, you got a layup, doing his job.
Stayed in front of Lyle. Crowd looking for a charge. Here's the 3 from Harris. That's an air ball. Trimble finds Diamond Stone. That's blocked underneath by Thompson. Stone able to recover in the corner and draws another foul. That's the 6th this half on Ohio State.
I can do about 10 minutes of stand-up if we need.
Well, who wouldn't pay to hear that?
You and I can both go into radio show mode. Caller line 2. Oh, the Jets aren't going to be any good.
Come on. That's the topic. That's where you have to go.
Those of you that don't know, Bob is the voice of the Jets.
I'm the voice of the 13th above 500 team in the NFL this year. The other 12 went to the playoffs. Suleiman, round for 3. In his eye hole, the walkout knocks it down. Dan Dakich wants to let SVP know you are welcome. Thompson. That foul called on the floor.
Man, SVP is enjoying this one. I guarantee you. He said it on his show that I was on his show the other night, and he called it out during a highlight in his eye hole, and I loved it, so I'm using it. Footnoting, of course.
Tate fouled. DeMonte Dodd will put Jayshawn Tate at the line.
I think SVP is the Carson of our generation. I really do. I don't even know who does the late night shows now, but SVP, he's a little Karnak.
Jayshawn Tate shooting 2.
He might need an Ed McMahon.
Oh, he's got one. He's got a great guy.
He does.
Yeah, he's got a great Ed McMahon.
Maryland got off to the best start in school history at 15-1 before losing Tuesday night at Michigan. But this is a team over the last 2 years that is 8-0 following a loss. So for Mark Turgeon, there are no losing streaks with this group. Carter adds to the Maryland lead. It's open gym right now for the Terps. 23 for Carter. Tate rolls it off the rim. Another rebound for Robert Carter. Goes right at Tate. Wow. A 40-point lead for Maryland with 11 minutes to go. Cam Williams. That's short. Foul underneath. And that'll go against Maryland, but not much else has gone against the Terps.
You know who the most respected guy on this team is? This guy right here, the walk-on Rom. Drilling a three, and look at his teammate. Look at his senior. Layman loving it.
You owned your car for 4 years. You named it Brad.
We were here last year, and Dan Dakich said he thinks this is not just the best atmosphere in the Big Ten, but maybe the best atmosphere in college basketball. They have fun in that student section. And this flag tradition is great, and they have done nothing but dance and party, really, from almost the midway point of the first half. It was once 1917 Maryland. It is now 77-37.
Let me go student section first. They're not in school in this student section is awesome. And they sell beer, which, you know, helps. The student section here, I love it. I do. I just think this place is great. First class all the way around. Fantastic basketball team.
Number 15, Michael Tchaikovsky.
Not a good afternoon when one team is worried about possibly equaling the fewest points that they have scored in a game where they are in danger of allowing the opposition to exceed their highest point total of the year. And that is the direction we are headed with Maryland. They've got 80 on the board with 10.5 minutes to play as Sulaimon hits another. A.J. Harris will shoot a pair.
Let's talk about where Ohio State goes from here. And I'm looking over at Thad Matta, and he is the most positive guy that you'll be around. I texted him earlier in the year, you know, when they were losing. You mentioned Texas, San Antonio, Louisiana Tech, and he's like, look, we'll figure it out. And obviously they did against Kentucky. They had a good win against Northwestern, at Northwestern. But this is 2 straight weekends where they have gotten absolutely blown out and played the first half against a really bad Rutgers team. They were down 8 at one point. Thad had to go nuts. Not really his style, but what you do is you keep working, you show some positives, you don't throw these tapes away. You know, when I hear announcers say this, it makes me crazy.
Announcers?
Announcers say it all the time. Well, you
Coaches
throw
say
the
it.
tape away. You don't throw this tape away. You hold it over their head.
This is a jeopardy. They have not lost by more than 35 in school history, and they are down by 40. Got to go back to the Great Depression to find the largest loss in school history for the Buckeyes. And that's what we're talking about right now, as they are down by 41 with 10:14 to go. I hear coaches say that. I hear coaches after games like this say, we just buried the tape. We threw that one out. We're just going to move on. You say no? Make the kids sit through it and live it again?
Let me ask you a question. Do you ever hear Nick Saban, Urban Meyer, Belichick? Do you ever hear guys? You hear a lot of bad coaches say that.
I guess I'm wondering the last time I've heard one of those teams not just lose a game, but lose a game like this.
You're right. No, you're right.
How many times they play a game where you burn the tapes?
All I'm saying is you do not see great coaches say that. Great coaches will hold these games like you hold great performances. Like Tom Crean and Mark Turgeon will say to their team, you know, Indiana beat Ohio State that bad last year. This is the level we are to play at. This is how good we can be. Now, from Thad Matta, you say this is what happens when you don't prepare yourself to play or when you back down during a game. You don't bury these tapes. You do if you're a bad coach and you're trying to keep all the players happy. Hell, you're going to get fired anyway. Bury the tape all you want, keep players happy, so nobody, whines at you, I guess. But great coaches don't do that.
This doesn't get easier for the Buckeyes as Jayshawn Tate finds Cam Williams for the layup. And they've got a few days to grind over this one. Then they're at Purdue at 9 o'clock on Thursday night.
Yeah, and Purdue's a little bit up and down. They look great against Michigan. And I don't mean good, I mean great. And then against Illinois outplayed them all day and got beat at home by a team that was really struggling.
Stone fouled by Thompson.
A lot of people, I'm sure, on Twitter and elsewhere are going to ask why you have your starters, and a lot of coaches don't like to take their starters out until under 8 minutes. It's just kind of a coaching thing. I was in a game. We were 26th in the country at Bowling Green. We were the #1 team getting votes. Buffalo was the worst team in the world at the time.
In the world?
In the world. And I'm counting 10-year-old bitty basketball at Andrean High School in Maryville, Indiana. Okay? We're up 28 at the 8-minute timeout. We have to make free throws. A kid named Brandon Pardon made free throws so that we could win the game. We're up 3 with 20 seconds. He had to make 2 free throws to win. All that's got to do is happen to you one time, and you are far less likely to take your team out before the 8-minute mark.
Carter back in for Stone. Varun Ram just came back in for Maryland as well. I see coaches in games that look like this not go to the walk-ons until you've got a minute to go in the
No
game.
doubt, a lot will. A lot will get a guy like Checo. They'll get him some time out here. I would be a little bit surprised if Trimble came back in. Maybe to get him to a certain number or something, but I wouldn't think he would be back in the game.
Robert Carter took the charge. Well, Melo Trimble, of course, we talked about it going into last week's win at Wisconsin, was nursing that hamstring strain that kept him largely on the bench in their win against Rutgers. So he was on a pitch count against Rutgers, and this might be an opportunity in the second half of the game where you maybe were expecting to have to play 35 minutes to give him a rest.
What you want to see is you want to see Tchaikovsky do some things.
Ron comes up short.
Tchaikovsky's a guy that can really help them and will help them at some point, either in the Big Ten tournament, Big Ten regular season, or the NCAA. You like to see him kind of break free a little bit, get some buckets.
That runner goes for Cam Williams. He was the #2 player in Maryland on ESPN.com when he chose to go to Ohio State. Suleiman knocks down another.
Tate didn't even jump. Guy lifted up right in front of him. He knew the guy was going to jump and shoot and didn't even jump out.
That tip follow goes inside for Williams. Check that, Jayshawn Tate credited with the basket off the miss by A.J. Harris.
Amazing how guys will jump offensively, but not defensively.
Layman for 3. A long rebound to Rob. Suleiman off balance. He is now 9 for 10. He's got 22. What a game for Rashid Suleiman. A steal for Rob. The hit ahead to Lehman. Throws it down, plus the foul on Loving.
Hey, you think you got something there? It's a steal, and Mark Loving coming up a little bit from behind. Doesn't phase Lehman.
ESPN's exclusive presentation of college basketball is brought to you by Land Rover. Above and beyond.
Tape you should burn. Van Dockich doing stand-up.
Hey.
I don't know if that's even going to make it to tape.
I did a little stand-up this summer. Crackers in Broad Ripple, Indiana.
Try the veal. All right, we've got Big Ten news and notes. This is what's trending in the Big Ten, and that is Joe Lunardi's bracketology. He's got 6 teams projected in right now. One of those, Michigan, they're without Karis LeVert. Michigan State gets swept by Iowa, and that was decisive on Thursday night. And Northwestern not one of those 6 teams that right now Joe Lunardi has projected in. Now it's very early on. They've got all the opportunity to build their resume, but is this finally going to be the year that the Wildcats make it to the tournament?
You can't lose to Ohio State at home. You're asking me a question that I honestly don't have an answer to. Look, I think Ohio State has enough. I think they're really well coached. There have been so many bad things happen to Ohio State over the course of time. Kevin Coble not coming back. I mean, injuries this year to Alex Ola, who was really good. Alex Ola, I believe, got hurt working out over Christmas at Traders Point Christian Church. He sent me a Twitter saying, hey, I'm here, work out with me. And next thing you know, he hurt his foot. I did not work out with him because it was too early in the morning. But
it was like 10.
Yeah, it was 10-ish.
Yeah. Jalen Brantley called for the foul. Right now, Ohio State in danger of making the worst kind of history. They trail by 44. Got to go back to 1928 to find the most lopsided loss in the history of the Buckeyes program. Their guard play, though, for Northwestern is every bit good enough to be a tournament team. But can they get the necessary wins to pad their resume and get on the right side of the bubble?
Look, my answer to that is yes, they can, because, look, let's be honest, in the Big Ten, you know, who are you really afraid of? You know, Maryland really good. Michigan can be really good, but they can get beat if they're not making shots. This is what you want to see. Not that.
Tchaikovsky turns it over.
No, you want to see Tchaikovsky make plays. He is a guy that can help this team, but he's just got to go right up and score. That's why I would be surprised if he doesn't play the entire 6.5 minutes. But, you know, Bob, Minnesota, that doesn't scare you. Rutgers obviously bad. Nebraska, you got to beat all those teams. And you got to get somebody at home. You got to get a Michigan State. You got to get an Indiana. Indiana doesn't go there. You got to get.
Loving off the mark from 3. Tchaikovsky is able to clear it for Maryland. Maroon Rom. A blow by. And now a foul called on Tchaikovsky. Well, tonight at 11, be sure to tune in for SportsCenter at Night with Jay and Bucci. We'll have highlights and breakdowns of a division round football weekend. Chiefs, Pats, Packers, Cardinals coming up later on, as well as cover the rest of the day in sports. And your day on a highlight with SportsCenter at night tonight on ESPN and streaming live on Watch ESPN and the ESPN app.
Chiefs, Pats. Who you like?
Patriots. They got their guys back.
No question.
Tom Brady losing at home in the
Soldiers
playoffs.
back at the left tackle.
And, well, more importantly, he's got Edelman back. He's got the guys that make that within 7 yards of the line of scrimmage pass offense go.
Who you like in the other one?
I like both teams that are at home. I think Arizona looks like a Super Bowl team. They certainly look like they've got a Super Bowl defense, and this year they've got their quarterback. Last year, they were in the playoffs
Ryan Lindley
on their 7th quarterback, it seemed, and this year they've got Carson Palmer healthy.
I love Bruce Arians.
Nickens. No good. Offensive rebound for Dodd.
You like Carolina?
Yes.
Me too.
This weekend or to go to the Super Bowl?
This weekend.
Yes.
I'm one day at a time. Actually, I shouldn't even be
understand.
talking about them because they play tomorrow. But how can you're in Foxborough, you're the Patriots. Are you kidding? I hear people talking about the Chiefs this, Chiefs that. And I think all football guys greatly underrate Alex Smith, but Foxborough.
That jumper comes up short for Jalen Brantley. Well, the one thing the Chiefs don't do is hurt themselves. They don't take penalties. As Lyle tries a long three, and they don't turn it over. I mean, if you want to talk about a quarterback that right now would rather finish with 3 touchdown passes on the season than turn it over, that's Alex Smith. Rom straightaway 3.
Well, Rom made a nice pass. He went on the baseline, Steve Nash style, kicked it out. Thought we were going to see another 3. Got it back. Like to see him knock that in. I root for walk-ons. Always have.
His first personal.
Well, there are walk-ons that are on the floor because the coach just wants to give them a little bit of playing time, and then there are walk-ons that are on the floor because the coach feels like this is a guy that can actually help.
Hey,
and Varun Ram is a guy that when they put him in there as kind of that little energy defensive player, he gives Mark Turgeon minutes that count.
You have him there. Zach Showalter is starting at Wisconsin. I'm going to give my son Andrew a shout out. Went on a 22-4 run Michigan did against Penn State when they put him in. Look, that's what you want. You want a guy that can give you a minute or two, and Rom gives him that and more.
Freshman Ivan Bender. Brantley down the lane. Yes, a little dipsy-do from Jalen Brantley.
Again, just a guy going to the rim and nobody sliding over.
Brantley was an AAU teammate of Jake Lehman. As now Jay-Sean Tate gets loose underneath and lays one in.
You know, the one thing that you see out of Maryland, you've seen today, is they don't mind who scores. They don't mind passing it around. And you know, you got some NBA guys here. You got Trimble's an NBA guy, Robert Carter's an NBA guy, Stone, and they don't, as Lavin used to say, they share the sugar, baby.
We got Rob.
And who are running the full gambit of topics right now.
Well, Doug, we've got a clarification for you. We actually have gone deeper into the books and realized that the 35-point loss back in 1928 was the largest home loss for Ohio State. The largest loss in school history all time was 47 back in 1956 at Illinois, and that is still in danger. Right now they trail by 39, although Mark Turgeon has gone deep into the bench. As now he's got the role players on to get some run here in the last 4 minutes.
We need to have an Andrew Terrell sighting.
It's Diop will go to the free throw line as Jay-Sean Tate set him up.
Andrew Terrell sits at the end of the bench for Maryland, cheering like crazy. He's a kid that I've known for a while, Buff High School in Indianapolis. What do you like in the presidential election? No, we won't. No.
A pair at the line for Bates Diop. What does it tell you about Maryland to lose on the road earlier this week, to bounce back with an effort like this, and keeping in mind that in the last 2 seasons under Mark Turgeon, they are about to improve to 9-0 following a loss. They just don't lose 2 in a row.
It tells me they have real talent, obviously. It tells me they have terrific leadership, and tells me that that leadership is connected to their coaching staff. You know, after losses, sometimes coaches get mad, which they should. Nice by David Bell. But And when coaches get mad, modern-day kids have a tendency to sulk. And actually, modern-day announcers have a tendency to do that as well. We get sad when coaches rip players. Well, tells me that Maryland doesn't let that bother them. Tells me that Maryland is connected to coach to player, player to coach.
Bates-Diop off the intercept, crosses over on Varun Ram, throws a little runner in that goes, and they will score the basket and put Bates-Diop at the free throw line with a chance for a three-point play.
Bates-Diop is not without offensive talent. Neither obviously is Loving or Lyle or Cam Williams. They just have to figure out how to play hard every night. It is not the easiest thing in the world to play hard every night. It should be, and in theory it is, but it is not.
Trevor Ansman, another walk-on, had the ball bounce off his knees, out of bounds. The only team in the Big Ten that's got 5 players averaging double figures, as Tate will go to the free throw line, is Maryland. So he talked about how their unselfish nature feeds games like this. Well, Robert Carter's got 25. Rashid Suleiman's got 22. Diamond Stone's got 15. Jake Layman's got 10. And Melo Trimble only with 8 points, but he hadn't scored in the better part of an hour of game time before he put 8 on the board in the second half today. And he has 9 assists to go along with the 8 points. You might as well make him a double-figure scorer as well.
Well, 2 things about this team. We just discussed one. They don't mind sharing the ball. It's an egoless group with a bunch of guys that are going to end up playing in the NBA, or at least have a shot to play in the NBA. That's number one. And number 2, look, and this was the question going in, how driven as they move through the season are they going to be for a championship? And by sharing the ball, not caring, you're driven for a championship.
There's a throw down. Devin Bender off a wraparound feed from Jalen Brantley. Lyle comes up way short. And Bell will go to the line.
Maryland now on Ethan Bender, his second personal. David Bell shooting 2.
David Bell can't hit at the line. You know, Bill Parcells always had, in football terms, the phrase, what causes you to win and lose games. And he talked about hidden yardage in games, how special teams can impact things, obviously turnovers, penalties, but things that if you are able to correct them or eliminate them, make you a totally different football team. Now, for Ohio State, they are last right now in the Big Ten shooting free throws. Out of 14 teams, they're 11th in turnovers, number 238 in America, averaging 13.5 turnovers per game. I would think shooting better at the free throw line and just being more careful with the basketball would be something that Thad Matta could work on with this group.
Young team, point guard in Lyle that isn't the quickest blow-by guy. He knows how to play really well. So you just don't have a veteran. And they've had veterans over, I mean, we've talked about Shannon Scott last year. Before that, Aaron Kraft. And for those of you that are playing bingo, there you go. But they don't have that this year. They have a freshman who alternates between dominating the ball and not dominating the ball. As Andrew Terrell comes in. What's the problem with my dog? Really nice kid.
So he is on the floor, and I guess this is Stan Dokic's way of making up for the stink eye that you gave him on prom night.
Yeah, not the best.
Williams, yes.
3-point basket for
We need right here a walk-on shot, whether it's Auslander, Terrell. We need a walk-on shot here.
Well, 3 out of the 5 players on the floor fit the bill. One minute to go.
1 minute remaining. 1 minute.
What you hope here is you stay spreading the dribble to your side.
Brantley to Bender. Tate out to Williams. To the corner to Tate. That's a turnover. Looking for 100. Here comes Jalen Brantley. And he'll get fouled and have an opportunity at the line to have Maryland hit the century mark.
Jalen Brantley shooting 2.
Not many analysts are able in the final minute of a game to time it perfectly with a little visit to the student section. But Dan Dakich is able to make sure he gets the flavor of the people.
Well, a couple consecutive free throws missed by the opponent gives food to students. And there's 2 things that students love: free food and free T-shirts.
Brantley to try and hit the century mark for Maryland. And hit 100 here in College Park. Tate for 3, way short. Check that. Lyle. Another foul call, this one on Tate. So it will be Bender to shoot free throws at the other end. And Mark Turgeon telling even his walk-ons at this point, no more shots.
That's ridiculous.
And for Thad Matta, they can't gas the plane up fast enough at this point.
This isn't Wisconsin high school basketball. Let the walk-on shoot. No, that's good sportsmanship. You don't want anybody shooting the basketball when it's like this, because look, every coach has been in Thad Matta's seat right now. Doesn't matter, and you could be in at your next game the way college basketball.
Jaquan Lyle will walk it up, and it looks like he'll just dribble the clock down. What a performance by Maryland. Again, it was 19-17 midway through the first half, and then the starters in particular with Suleiman, Stone, Carter, and Lehman all in double figures. Melo Trimble with 8 points and 9 assists. And they took the game over, and it became a Maryland blowout.
You know, one team made shots and built on it, and then Ohio State started missing shots around the rim and just died on the vine. And, hey, you let up against this Maryland team with all the weapons they have, you are going to get blown out. And that's exactly what happened to Ohio State today.
100-65 is our final here in College Park. That wraps it up for us. Coming up next, we've got more basketball. Notre Dame taking on Duke. That should be a good one. For Dan Dakich, I'm Bob Wischusen. So long for Maryland. Back to the studio with Doug Kazarian.